now we're going to look at what happens when an employee misses a clock. So here's an example where Carol Cowan has not clocked out at the end of the shift, so I've got the red circle. So was still at work at 16:45, was due to clock out, didn't clock out. What do we do about that? So we simply, in this particular case, click on the plus sign. We put in the actual finish time that we are then advised by somebody that she did finish. So let's say it's 2000 for now. I would always go in and put a tag saying did not clock out so that I've got that as a record in future. I can save that. So now that will then calculate the hours accordingly. It was obviously a very long day because she did 15 hours in that particular shift. If I want to make a note about this, which will come in handy in the future, if I click on this little notes icon down here, then I get a plus sign. So if I hit the plus sign, and I can come in here and say, forgot to clock out, as she was tired, or whatever I want to put in there, or that I've spoken to her about it, or whatever the conversations that you might have had. Putting in notes gives you documentary evidence that you've actually looked at the data, that you've assessed the data, and you know why you've made that particular error and that particular edit. If I save that now, I can see that there is a note here, and that note will stay with that data for that employee right through the employee's notes screen, and as well as coming up in some reports. When I do that, you'll notice that without a note, there's one icon. When there is a note, there is two icons, so I can see that there is a note there. So the other things you've got that you can do in here, for example, if the person was on the wrong daily rule. So I can come in here and I can say, okay, so you weren't working in sales, you're working in the factory, and I can save that. Now that may not do a lot, but it may change the anchoring, may change the rounding, it could change a number of things in this particular scenario. But you can change the rule, you can tag the day, you can edit the day, you can add a start and finish time, you can add a leave method, you can add a note, you can look at the photos if you choose to. So there's a lot you can do in here. Then the other thing you can do when you're in this particular area is that you can run a report. So if I click on the report button, now by default the report will bring up whatever I was viewing here in this data here. Then if I click on the report, that's what I'll get. So if I've filtered my data in some way, so let's say I've filtered it down, I've said I'm only interested in employees in the cleaning department, and I search. Now, haven't got very much in the way of data here probably, but let's say I want to see all the cleaners and all their data, and I've got someone there who was a cleaner for that particular day. So I'm looking at the cleaner. So I can filter that information down if I choose to for my report, or I can come in here and say, right, I want all, but I actually want to sort it by employee, not by department, and I filter that. So now when I run my report, that's the way my report will look. So it's now grouped by employee, not grouped by date, or then it's grouped by date within employee. And I can then print that report out. And if I print that report out, it'll give me all of the tags, all of the flags, if there are still flags there, the employee's total hours, a breakdown of what the start and finish times were. The asterisks around the time will show me that the employee's data has been edited. And there's a few other options in here which I'll come back and talk about in a second with the filtering of the reports. But once you're in here, this is where this is where you'll spend most of your working time, is looking at this information, and I'll show you how you do the different formats with the filtering and then do different reports in the next video.